You have probably never stopped to wonder about this. Every day, billions of humans interact with animals. We feed them, train them, study them, live alongside them. But do they know something about us that we rarely consider? Do animals know that we are smarter than them? At first glance, the answer seems obvious. We build cities. We fly through the sky. We split atoms. But smarter is a word that assumes a lot. For most of human history, we defined intelligence as the ability to do things humans do well. That turned out to be a very circular definition. A dolphin navigating three-dimensional ocean space in total darkness using sound alone is doing something a human brain cannot begin to replicate. A crow remembers the face of every human who has ever wronged it years later. An octopus solves puzzles that challenge college students, with a brain distributed across 8 arms. When an animal looks at you, it is not seeing what you see in the mirror. A dog processes roughly 300 million scent receptors, compared to the human's 6 million. When your dog sniffs the air, it is reading a complete story about who has been here, what they felt, and how long ago. That is not lesser intelligence. That is a different intelligence, operating at a different depth. Your dog knows what you are feeling before you have said a word. Studies show dogs can distinguish between happy and angry human faces with above-chance accuracy. They also respond to the emotional tone of the human voice, independent of the words used. Your emotional state is not private around animals. Humans follow each other's gaze constantly. It is how we coordinate attention socially. Dogs do this too, and they do it better than chimpanzees. Dogs evolved alongside humans for so long that they learned to read our attentional system. When a dog looks into your eyes, it is not random. It is deliberate social intelligence. There is a growing body of research suggesting that some animals have a model of human capability. They are not just reacting to us. They are representing us mentally. A chimpanzee that watches a human solve a problem will sometimes try a different strategy, suggesting it expected the human to use a specific approach. That is a model of another mind's capabilities. Ravens will hide food from other ravens, but they adjust their hiding behavior based on whether a human is watching. If a raven knows a human saw where it hid something, it will move the food later. This is not instinct. This is a raven modeling what a specific human knows and acting to change it. Horses can detect micro-changes in human posture that most humans cannot consciously register. A relaxed rider produces a different horse behavior than a tense one, even when both riders believe they are doing the same thing. The horse is not responding to your commands. It is responding to you. Elephants in Kenya can distinguish between 2 ethnic groups by smell and by the color of their clothing. One group historically hunted elephants, the other did not. The elephants remember, and they adjust their behavior accordingly, across generations. They have a detailed, accurate, generationally transmitted model of specific human groups. Researchers at the University of Washington wore specific masks while trapping crows. The crows remembered and responded to those faces, and only those faces, for years. When the researchers returned wearing the masks, crows that had never been trapped, but had learned from other crows, also responded. Information about specific humans travels through crow societies. When a dog and its owner make eye contact, both experience a rise in oxytocin. Oxytocin is the same hormone involved in mother-infant bonding. The dog did not just become a useful working animal to humans, it became family. Dogs show measurable stress responses when separated from their owners. Their cortisol levels rise. Their behavior changes specifically in response to the owner's absence, not any human's absence. That is not attachment to humans in general. That is attachment to a specific person. In 1970, psychologist Gordon Gallup Jr. placed a mirror in front of a chimpanzee. After a brief period, the chimpanzee began using the mirror to examine parts of its own body it could not otherwise see. This is called the mirror test, and passing it suggests a form of self-recognition. Chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, dolphins, orcas, elephants, and magpies have all passed it. Most animals do not. To recognize yourself in a mirror, you may need a concept of self separate from other. And to have a concept of self separate from other, you may need a theory of other minds. Animals that pass the mirror test tend to also be the animals that show the most sophisticated social intelligence. The ability to know you exist may be tied to the ability to know that others exist. Experiments show that dogs pay attention to whether a human is competent at a task. They are more likely to follow the instructions of a human who has demonstrated competence. They track whether you know what you are doing. That is a form of cognitive evaluation. Dogs will request human help for tasks they could not complete on their own. They do not just bark randomly, they specifically solicit the human, the entity they have identified as capable of solving the problem. That requires modeling human capability. Great apes trained in sign language sometimes adjust their signing based on what they know the human can see. They point into the human's line of sight, not just in any direction. They have modeled where the human's attention is and directed communication into that space. That is not just communication. That is communication designed for a specific mind. The honest answer is probably not in the way the question assumes. Animals do not have a concept of intelligence as an abstract category. They do not rank species on a cognitive hierarchy. That concept was invented by humans, for humans. Animals know when you can do things they cannot. They know whether you are competent or not. They know whether you are dangerous or safe. They know whether you can be trusted, and they know how to use you. That is not a lesser form of understanding. That is a different one.